just as I was approaching the end of my apprenticeship in 1975, Vauxhall had a redundancy scheme, and somebody said, you know what, apprentices can get that redundancy package as well. So I inquired, and sure enough, I'd got it, which was just amazing. So I was preparing for turning pro at that time, and I managed to spend some of that money on a brand new 335, a cherry red 335. It was just brilliant, and I also started answering adverts for pro bands, or people who were looking for pro bands. And one such agency, Mecca International Agency, we auditioned for them, and they said, well, we have an opening for you in Denmark. So what could be better? I'm finishing my apprenticeship, and then we're going to go straight to Denmark. And then the very last day, they bang you out of the drawing office when it's your time to leave. And I still remember that vividly to this day, that feeling of elation, just leaving Vauxhall Motors and knowing that my professional life as a musician had just begun.
After touring around Europe with his band in the late 70s, Barry's illustrious career started in the early 80s with international chart toppers Brotherhood of Man. Then he became a UK top nightclub DJ whilst writing and producing for many famous hit artists. In the 90s, he turned to country music for inspiration and wrote worldwide hit 5, 6, 7, 8, leading to his formation of pop band Steps, who have now had numerous single and album chart success. After more hits with such diverse acts as Sonia, John Otway and the Cheeky Girls, plus a song in the double Oscar-winning film Little Miss Sunshine, Barry moved to the Sunshine Paradise of Thailand, where he's been presenting on radio and TV, as well as continuing to perform music live. His passion has always been songwriting, and this he successfully continues to do.
It was around 1977, early 77, and we found out that Tony Avern, who we'd worked for previously, he had a record label called Tado Records, and we could record an album, and he could produce it, and we could sell them at our gigs. So we went 2 days in the studio, and we did a few covers, but I also had a few songs that I'd written, attempted to write, so we put them on there as well. And lo and behold, there we go, we've got our first vinyl album to sell at gigs. Well, this group Oasis, the core of the band, we were writing some material, and a London production company had heard about us, and they'd heard some demos, and they came down and saw us and decided to sign us up to make an album. We decided to call ourselves Limousine to keep ourselves separate from the Mecca gig. And then Wayne Bickerton, who had a company called State Records, he decided to sign the group. And he had a big studio in Marble Arch called Odyssey. Of all of the 10 songs on the album, the A side and the B side were both my songs.
Night lover, you're night lover, keeping me warm till the early morning. Night lover, the right lover for you.
Wayne, I understood that I had some talent for writing, and I'd been writing some other songs which I'd kind of demoed on Sound to Sound on a tape recorder. And so he let me have some studio time. At this fateful day, there was a band called the Brotherhood of Man. And so I put my head around the corner and said, hello. I had no idea that at that very moment, my career would take a massive upward swing. And little did I know that at that time, Lee Sheridan, one of the frontline members, was thinking of leaving, because he'd got a family and the band were just touring and working the whole time. And they were looking for a suitable replacement. And I think when I first poked my head round the door at Odyssey Studios, they saw a resemblance to Lee. So maybe that's why they showed the interest that day. And then Lee decided to call it a day. So it's what they had suspected. So I was asked to go up for an audition. I thought, oh, really? I'm going to go for an audition? There must be a lot of people up for this. No, I was the only one they auditioned. And it was 2 weeks before a major tour. They asked me to wait outside the office for 5 minutes. After that 5 minutes, they had a quick discussion. I was in the group. And then we did 6:55 Special, which was a BBC Two programme, but David Soul was one of the hosts. I used David's guitar, and we sung the song with him on Blackpool Beach.
You're not working these days anymore, right? To come
Not
down
since the tour.
Not since the tour.
Yeah.
Yes, for those folks who don't know, we travel and tour over here in Great Britain, didn't we?
Yeah,
great.
fantastic.
Fun, 3.5
Do you remember that
weeks.
song you used to do?
Oh yeah, we do it in the act now.
Dreamers.
That's
Dreamers?
Yeah.
You do that now?
Yeah, we hitched it.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
you've been working on your acting, Nikki?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay, we'll try it.
2, 3, 4.
Dreamers will chase the rainbow until they find it in another dreamer's eyes.
Great.
Yeah.
Beside the
Great.
tide, I watch the children play.
We can't remember the words.
Down at the shore they listen for the things that dolphins say. I wander the coast like a shipwreck ghost, feel the wind blow free, watching the light on the stars at night, throw diamonds in the sea. Okay, here we go.
Dreamers believe in magic. They see the moonlight in cloudy skies. Dreamers will chase the rainbow until they find it in another dreamer's eyes.
Oh, you guys are great. Oh, that's great. You can take the song anytime you want. That's wonderful. No, but I'm going to send you off to earn your £5.
We haven't been paid from the last one yet.
Oh, I was afraid you were going to bring that up.
Yeah.
Well, go do it for fun then.
Bye. Cry, cry, baby, I don't know why. Whatever happened to days gone by, 'cause all I do is cry.
Right, come on, that's it. That's a wrap. It's a wrap. Great. Thank you. Super. So lovely.
Oh,
So nice having you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave.
Yeah, tell him.
Is there any chance
Yeah.
of any money?
Money?
We haven't.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we understood this was for fun, you know?
No, you didn't pay it. She didn't pay for the tour.
Oh, well, I got the £5 note I promised you. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
More than that.
There's
There's
four
four
of us,
you know.
Four of us.
There's four of us. I saw you with some money earlier.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Good.
That's fine. Why don't I just send you a check?
One
No, we like cash.
One for Nikki.
And me, and you.
It's fine.
Right.
Come on, you guys. I mean,
Oh, no, we got a watch.
the watch?
Oh, Amiga.
Oh, you always pawn the watch.
You got it in your pocket.
Right.
That's,
Yeah?
yeah, fine, that'll do.
No. Okay, right.
Okay.
Bye. Right, Dave.
Always nice doing business with friends.
It's not so good when you suddenly see cassettes of your album in a dump bin at a motorway service station. You think, oh, maybe we're sliding downhill a little bit. So we decided amicably to call it a day after we did this gig in Scotland, and that was the last gig that I ever did with Brotherhood of Man, and suddenly it was all over. So they'd had a word with Tony Marshall, and he took me in and said, how much would you like to do the Hammersmith Palais? I went, really? That means it's a proper job. I've got to take this seriously. And he says, well, not only that, I'll give you 2 nights at the Hammersmith Palais. I'll give you 1 night at the Café de Paris in Leicester Square, and 1 night at Ilford Palais. So all of a sudden, I'm working 4 nights a week. I'm now a professional DJ. I was producing in conjunction with doing my DJing as well. And there was a company called Satchel, run by a guy called Henry Hadaway, famous for the tweets. And I ended up doing some tracks there with Mike Stevens. And then they brought in an act called Francis Raffel, who I'd met before through Tony Hiller. And then Henry Hadaway decided to do a double pack of the tweets with another single for Christmas. And so I ended up, myself and Mike Stevens, we ended up being the tweets. I know, I'm a Pop Tart. Come on, this is 1986 now. I was producing all kinds of records, dance records. I took part in a film called Foreign Body with Victor Banerjee and Warren Mitchell. I was asked to play the part of the Hammersmith Palais DJ. All kinds of people would be offered to me. Frankie Vaughan, for example. Now, my mother used to listen to Frankie Vaughan when I was a kid on that Danzig record player. And there he was. I'm doing a double album with him. And Ivor Raymond, who had previously worked with Brotherhood of Man. And I remember when Frankie Vaughan went on to the Gloria Hunniford show on BBC Radio, and he mentioned my name and said, I've got this guy, he's given me a new sound. I hadn't really changed that much, but I suddenly realised maybe I am. Maybe I'm injecting something new into older material. And so ended up producing a thing called Ask the DJ, especially for all the people who knew me at Hammersmith Palais, and it was about the requests that they asked for and all the excuses I would make not to play the song. I thought, well, okay, I'll have a tour around some record companies, and the first one I went to was Arista, as you might say. Unbeknown to me, they had just signed as a subsidiary DMC Records, which was Tony Prince's outfit, and he loved the song and put it to his top remixers to make it into a full-blown 12-inch remixed record, and it came out. It was released, and then we went out on a DMC roadshow, and I was part of it. I had this outfit, this like Superman outfit. That was, and I was, instead of Superman, I was Mixman. And I had these 2 girls in wet t-shirts. I did a Jackie Graham mega mix, and I suddenly made the front cover of Mixmag, which was the DJ's Bible almost. The magazine that was sent out with the records for Disco Mix Club members. And this went internationally, worldwide. So all of a sudden, I'm an international DJ. So I moved to a nightclub in Bedford called Sweetings, and there's a guy called Chris Sweeting who owned it. Lovely guy, called me up and said, can you come up and perform here for a while? Yeah, but then I got a call from Luminar Leisure, a guy called Steve Thomas, and he'd got this place called The Dome, which was a massive nightclub in Birmingham. It was as big as the Hammersmith Palais, if not bigger. Anyway, we had all kinds of special guest acts playing, Edwin Starr, Shack Attack. I remember Rick Astley coming, and Rick Astley, his first record, Never Gonna Give You Up, hadn't been released yet. Crazy Kevin, he was DJ of the Year 2 years running. I was producing some house music at that time, so I got Crazy Kevin involved. I wrote a song called Crazy House, which I recorded on my home studio, and I had Kevin do some little shouts on it, some of his kind of like stage antics, and then and my girlfriend Simone, I had her singing a couple of sections on it, and I also put I needed something to perk it up at one point, and so I just put the craziest thing that came into my head at that time, which was that Smoke on the Water, and it kind of works. And later on I found out that Pete Waterman, he loved that track, Crazy House, and one of the reasons was because I put that Smoke on the Water riff in it. And there's a guy called Steve, called it CRS, studios, and he gave me carte blanche to produce whatever I wanted in there. He needed somebody to work in there, and so I produced some pop and dance tracks, some which became quite successful actually, some of those dance tracks. That it resulted in a trip to Barcelona. I met the record label, and they kind of like got me involved with their label. And they needed 2 mix albums for the Christmas market of the hits that they'd put out during the year. By just using a Revox, a couple of decks, and a lot of splicing.
This is a journey into sound.
In those days, it's not like technology now. We had to splice the tape, and my fingers were red raw by the end of 2 weeks of editing and making these 2 mix albums, which I then flew out to Barcelona and delivered to them, and they loved them. They came out, and actually they're still on YouTube. You can still access them. Disc Jockey Mix. They put out the Norma Lewis single, and then got me to go over to Barcelona to do a whole album in a digital studio, brand new digital studio. That was new technology at that time. And I had a bit of a reunion with Nikki, because from Brotherhood of Man, because I heard that she was singing somewhere in Spain. So we managed to get her up to Barcelona to do all the harmonies, and great reunion for me and Nikki. How we laughed. Yes, we did. Also, there was a band called El Etuano Masculino, which were a little bit of a Spanish Spandau ballet, and I had to have an interpreter, but I produced them as well. So what was happening was, I was commuting backwards and forwards to Barcelona. I would be DJing on a Friday and a Saturday, and then on a Sunday I would fly out to Barcelona, work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning, and then commute back to London on the Friday afternoon, and then do my Peterborough and Cambridge gigs, and then the whole circle went again. So this went on for a couple of months, and I just got into the swing of it, really. And it really was like just catching a bus to Barcelona all the time. I know it's a plane, but it did actually feel like just the most natural thing in the world. And then after that period of activity, Satchel Records got me involved with them again, and I ended up doing a Wilson Pickett remix at Red Bus Studios. I recorded a track for Miller Lite, the beer, and then I met up with David Van Day from Dollar, and did a couple of solo singles for him. And ended up making a dance CD called Barry Upton's House of Ill Repute. And there was a kind of mixture of songs on that, really, but all kind of with a dance theme. And it was nice to have an album out in the States. Crazy House, by the way, was used by Pete Waterman on the hit Man and Her. He really loved that track, Crazy House, and they used my song Crazy House as the music for the dance competition, 6 weeks running. So that was like 6 minutes of TV money. Excellent. Once again, I'm mixing with the Nolans, and so I said to them, have you got any record deal or anything at the moment? And they said no. So I said, well, why don't we record a new version of I'm in the Mood for Dancing? Like, make it up to date, more kind of late 80s style, PWL style. And we did. And it turned out fantastic. So that ended up being released by Ray Levy at A1 Records, down to Meedem, the trade fair, which is always in January. This guy turned around and said, did I just hear your name's Barry Upton? I went, yes. He says, oh, hi, I'm Simon Cowell from Fanfare Records, and I've got one of your cassettes, and there's some really good stuff on it. Could you come in my office on Monday? And I came out with an amazing publishing deal, which Simon gave me a big chunk of money, but he said to me, I think you should spend this money on your own studio. You need to have your own recording studio. And he was absolutely right. And it just made such a difference to my life, because instead of me having to go up to London or go to Bedford to use studios, now I had my own studio. I was on this kind of pseudo talent competition, dressed up as Buddy Holly, but singing Bros songs. So as Derek Jameson called me, "Oh, you're Buddy Brolly." You know, Tony Hiller, he labelled me as fearless. He wondered if there was anything I wouldn't do. There was a guy called Jeff Chegwin who was an artist manager, and he had a client called Lindy Layton, who had been in a spaghetti advert. And he called me up and said, "Have you got any songs? I'd like to demo her. She's just been in the spaghetti advert, and I think she could be a star." Norman Cook at that time was just starting a thing called Beats International. And so he didn't use my song initially. He had another song called "Doubly Good to Me," which he put Lindy Layton on, and I think it went to #1. And then after that, he called me up and said, "That song of yours, Wait for Love, I really like it. Do you mind if I do a version of it?" And I said, what am I going to say, no? And so he did. He put it out as a Lindy Layton solo single. Yeah, it was the summer of 1990. My new studio was up and working. I'd had David Van Day come up and record a couple of tracks. He was my guinea pig. And then Pete Langford from the Barron Knights, who I was not unfamiliar with. And he phoned me up one day and said, "Hey Barry, do you know how those Jive Bunny records are made?" And I said, "Well, I've got a pretty good idea." So he said, "Well, would you like to produce our latest single?" So I spent a week with the Barron Knights in their studio, and I've got to say it's one of the best weeks of my life, because I mean I bought Barron Knights records when I was a kid, and to actually sort of feel like I was part of them, and I really was. I was putting in ideas and crazy ideas, and we put this ridiculously crazy record together. I called it "What a Mix Up." Put my answer phone on, and there was Butch from the Barron Knights, who's a lovely guy, and he just says, "Barry, I've just heard the final mix, and I think it's the funniest thing we've ever done." And I've got to tell you, that was a magic moment in my life. I mean, I still feel shivers going through my body now, because for someone like that to say that was the best thing that they'd recorded when I bought all those records years before was an incredible boost, and just it made me feel fantastic. And that was all through Simon Cowell. Funnily enough, he just signed Sonia, and he loved the song. It went top 10, and it was just played to death on the radio. Never heard it off the radio. It was a fantastic single, fantastic moment. Everybody seemed to love it. It was like this big kind of Beach Boys harmonies at the beginning. And sure enough, it did become a top 10 hit. I wanted to play some of these great country songs that I was hearing on my travels. So I put together a duo called Stars and Stripes, Helen York. And so we put together a set, and we started doing a few gigs. And then I got a call from Brian Poole, you might remember from Brian Poole and the Tremolos from the early 60s. And his daughters, Karen and Shell, they were looking to do some recording, and I said, "Oh, well, bring them over and we'll have a listen." And sure enough, they'd got potential. Anyway, they became Alicia's Attic. If anybody remembers a pop band from the 90s called Alicia's Attic, 2 girls, that was them, Karen and Shell. And then Hazel Dean became a friend of mine. She was looking for songwriting partners. Tony, my manager, sent her up, and we became great friends, really great friends. Also Barry Blue came up and we wrote a couple of songs together. And one of the songs that we wrote, he said, "Oh, I've got a vocalist to come in and sing it for us." And that was Les McEwen from the Bay City Rollers. So all these stars were coming one by one to my studio. I loved playing new country live. I just loved the fact that there was great melodies, it was rocky, there was some fantastic songs for girls which Helen was singing. And so we put an album together. I actually started writing some songs in that vein, and I recorded the Stars and Stripes album. I came up with the idea of, why don't we do it as a threesome and call it Wild at Heart? I could and make it a little bit more pop party band. I was on my way to a Wild at Heart gig one Saturday night, and Tony Hiller phones me up and says, we've got to do a song for Chelsea Football Club by Monday. We're going to have it finished by Monday. We've got to write it and record it by Monday. We went down to a studio in London where the Chelsea Football Club players all came after their training, and I somehow managed to get them to sing the words in the right places. It was a hit, 2 weeks in the charts with Chelsea Football Club. With my band Wild at Heart, we were asked by CSE, which is Combined Services Entertainment, to go to Bosnia, tour Bosnia, and this was with Jim Davidson. It was a priceless experience. And then out of the blue, there was this very bizarre phone call from the Musicians Union in London, and they said, your name's been put forward to put together a band to support Deputy Labour leader John Prescott, who's going to be taking this tour around theatres called the Rolling Rose Tour. At the press reception, Tony Blair was there, Glenda Jackson, Richard Wilson, and the world's media. And we had to play a couple of songs. Yeah, they were all there. Her Majesty's Opposition, all on the stage with us. And Tony Blair was next to me. And these photographers, they were saying to me, give Tony a guitar, because they knew that once upon a time, he was in a band. And I was just about to do it, and I could see the executives from the party going, no, don't do that. There were some hairy moments on the tour, but it really was great fun. We did Cardiff, Aberdeen, Birmingham, Leeds. Very bizarre moment where I was in the green room area with a buffet and some drinks and stuff, discussing odds on horses with Tony and Cherie Blair. I continued doing recording Dollar's Greatest Hits. More money was coming in. The resulting album sounds pretty much like the original tracks, so I was quite proud of that. Then I released my CD, which was called Wild at Heart, and there was a lot of country songs on there, and people have been saying to me, why don't you write a pop line dancing song? Yes, a pop line dancing band would be really something, because people can learn the dance as well as the song. Anyway, how stupid can I be? I was with Brotherhood of Man, and Save Your Kisses for Me was a big song with a dance that went with it. I couldn't think of a title, and it wasn't until I was actually at a new country songwriters showcase, and I was in the middle of playing some songs. This was in Oxford Street in London. It popped into my head that musicians always count songs in a 1, 2, 3, 4, but with line dance choreography, they always start them off 5, 6, 7, 8, because they're always in counts of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that lineup that we put together there is still together today. Amazing. I kind of concentrated on my own career for a while. While I was in Nashville, I went and had a chat with some guys from Country Music Television, and I wondered if I should do a video. And they said, oh yes, no, we would love British artists on Country Music Television, especially if you can do something that's a little bit different to the American country. Anyway, we chose that song, Hey You on the Radio, and they loved the song and said, go and do a video of that, but try and get some shots of London, and don't wear cowboy hat or cowboy boots. Don't try and be a cowboy. And would you believe it? They loved it. Country Music Television was showing it, and I became a top country UK artist. And then I got the news from David Van Day that he'd formed a new Bucks Fizz, and it was going to be called Bucks Fizz featuring Mike Nolan and David Van Day. And they needed a musical director. So I helped them audition a couple of girls, which I'm very good at. I made up the tracks, I made up the show, and ended up performing with them. There was a film company, Polygram International I think it was, who were filming a kind of Reservoir Dogs style film starring Patrick Stewart, and they needed a line dance sequence in it, and they needed a band to play on the stage, and they said, well, have you got any of your own material? and so I sent them a few tracks and they picked out 2, and so I ended up having 2 songs in the film, plus appearing with Patrick Stewart as he line danced in front of us. My country song, Hey You on the Radio, had done so well, I felt like I should do a second video for country music television. So I had this song called I'm Still Falling, which was a little bit kind of like a Dave Evans country style. Anyway, eventually country music television loved it. It became a CMT hotshot, which meant it was played every hour. So 5, 6, 7, 8 was about to be released. It stayed in the top 20 for 16 weeks, which is just amazing. It turned out to be the biggest selling record of the 90s, not to make the top 10, because it always stayed between 11 and 20. Somebody phoned me up, a friend of mine from Australia, phoned me up and said, "Did you know your record is number 1? I'm going, come on. And then we didn't have internet then. Fax it to me, that was it. So he did that, and sure enough, out from my fax machine comes this page, and there's Whitney Houston, there's Madonna, there's all these big acts in the top 10, and at number 1, Steps and 5, 6, 7, 8. Fabulous. Wild at Heart had now progressed to being a 5-piece. So I had Kelly and Shelley, I had Elena, who was the girl from Kazakhstan. We enjoyed each other's company. We ran like clockwork, all the gigs went like clockwork, and it was a happy family. A Tommy Ayres benefit at the Café de Paris. Martin Fry from ABC was going to be singing, Hamish Stewart from the Average White Band, and on backing vocals was also going to be Janie, my former girlfriend, who is now called Janie Lee Grace, and she was the cohort with Steve Wright on Steve Wright in the Afternoon. Getting drunk with John Otway, and I finally said to him, I don't think your albums have been produced very well. And he said, well, you have a go, come on, you have a go at producing me. And I drunkenly agreed. A variety of songs we wrote and produced things that sounded that they could like they could be hits. And one of the songs was a song called Bunsen Burner, which was a poem that John had been reciting at some of his gigs. And he said he wrote it for his daughter's homework, just to see what kind of mark he might get. And so I just suddenly thought, you know what, we could actually make something of that poem and maybe make a song around it. And I got Janie to come in down and sing some backing vocals on it. And so it turns out that Johnny Walker, who was a DJ on Radio 2, was a big John Otway fan, and he loved it, so he played it nearly every night, and it became a big hit record. It was top 10, and it was really funny because it came out on 3 CDs. I did all these different mixes of Bunsen Burner, plus we added some of the extra tracks on different CDs. So really and truly, to get the whole package, you had to buy 3 CDs, not just one. It all started out with a Christmas song. I'd written this Christmas song called I'd Like to Give You One for Christmas. I just thought the Cheeky Girls would be ideal for it. But they didn't really want to do a Christmas song because I think they'd done one the year before. They had an idea for a song about flamenco. I got it. I got the great title, Cheeky Flamenco. Then the girls came and started doing the vocals, put the vocals down. And I've got to tell you, I loved working with them, I really did. They were so warm and so fun to be with. We recorded a few tracks after that as well. I think they're twins, so their birthdays were on the same day. And OK Magazine put on like a birthday party for them. There was lots of celebrities there. The lunacy of Otway. He suddenly dreamt up this idea of doing a world tour. He needed an album, and then we met up and wrote a bunch of songs, crazy songs. And by now, I had freedom to put in some ideas, and we came up with some really wacky ideas. Yes, Give You One for Christmas, which rejected by the Cheeky Girls, but the girls in my band, they said, well, why don't you record it with us and still put it out. At Christmas, it was in the top 5 of one of the video channels, we were scuppered by a remake of the Band-Aid song, Do They Know It's Christmas? So then it was 2005 and we decided, well, maybe we should try and follow it up and capitalise on the exposure that we'd had. I love the phrase Go Commando. So I thought, I'll write a song called Go Go Commando. And we filmed a video on an actual army tank. So New Year's Eve 2006, I'm flying out to Bahrain to do another gig. The in-flight movie, one of the in-flight movies, was a film called Little Miss Sunshine. It was going to be in this film, Little Miss Sunshine, our song. Suddenly, this song comes on and I'm going, I know this song. Hang on a minute. I co-wrote this song and that's my production. It's nominated for 4 Oscars. I had a gig with a rock band, but we turned it into an Oscar party. And would you believe it? Little Miss Sunshine won 2 Oscars. I've got a song in an Oscar-winning film on Forest FM out in the New Forest between Southampton and Bournemouth. And so I became a radio DJ. The 2006 World Cup, and Gut Records wanted to put a CD out of all the famous football songs surrounding the World Cup. I ended up getting a silver disc for it because it sold so well. And because of the success of that, they then asked me to do a Grease party album, which was to re-record all the songs from the famous Grease film. That album became so successful, they asked me to do a Halloween party album. And by the way, all these albums were being TV advertised. My favourite TV themes. Okay, it's now 2008. Gut Records were just throwing these albums at me, and they were loving what I was giving them. And then we did my favourite musicals, which was another album of remakes. Yes, Martin Perry, who was a friend of mine from Southampton, and he was asked by Radio Hampshire to do an And magazine program. He asked me if I would co-host it with him, and we made some great radio shows there. It really was a successful program. And then I did a tour with John Otway. Normally I would play keyboards, but the guitarist, he had another gig, so I ended up playing guitar on this hits tour. And one of the gigs on that rock circuit tour was the Cambridge Rock Festival, but that was the lunacy of Otway's gigs. It was always a joy. I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. You want me to produce that song, Biff Baff Boff. So yes, I co-wrote Biff Baff Boff. ITV2 were doing an after what the celebrities did after they left the jungle, and so they sent a camera crew down to my studio to see the song being recorded. So I was interviewed, and David was interviewed. There was Mike Reed there hovering around behind us. It was like a total circus. Very, very funny. And I recorded a kind of 60s inspired original album. And then I went down to Patio People, and they were really pleased to see me and offered me a mid-morning radio show almost immediately. So all of a sudden, I'm in a new country, I have a new job, and then I met up with a guy from Scotland called Martin Carlisle. He'd been there a while. He was a videographer, and we started making a few features together. They were good enough to be shown on the TV at Patio People. The managing director or the CEO of Patio People, he was dining out on the fact that he now had a member of Brotherhood of Man on his staff at the station. There was a place called the Blues Factory down at Walking Street in Pattaya, and there was this amazing guitar player called Snowman. He was a blues player, and he'd got the B.B. King Blues Award. And so then what I started doing, I would write a song on a Sunday afternoon, go down to the Blues Factory in the evening, and just say to the band, it's in the key of E, this kind of tempo, and if I'd sing a brand new song. So that was good for the songwriting brain.
Picture this, take a photo of the people, you and me, and my sunshine guitar.
So I thought, I know, I'll write a song about a couple falling in love in Pattaya. But I produced this track, and it became really popular, played on the radio, played on TV, used in various films. It's still popular today.
It makes her feel so wonderful.
Oh yeah,
Sunshine in a land of smiles. Pattaya, Pattaya, let's go Pattaya. Daytime, nighttime, anytime's a good time. Loving to love in Pattaya.
Travel vlogs on Koh Chang, which is an island. I was doing the presentation, Martin was doing the filming, and we spent a week and we did about 11 different features. So there we were in Koh Chang, and I suddenly realised, hey, I'm Judith Chalmers. I am that presenter on holiday being paid to enjoy myself and just be filmed. So that was an amazing moment. I suddenly kind of like ticked that box. 96 FM promoted me to the flagship breakfast show, and I wrote a song. I'd already written a song called Come On, Get Up, Get Out, Get Moving, and that's what I had to do every morning, so I used that as the theme tune. The thing is, I've never really been an early morning person, being rock and roll and doing gigs and stuff, so late to bed, late to rise. Now it was the other way around, early to bed, early to rise, because I had to be ready to start my show at 8 o'clock in the morning. But there was a big audience, it was a big show, what can I say? It was fun to do. And we decided to have the morning show live on the street outside the offices and outside the coffee shop. And then people could sit there, buy a coffee and watch the morning show being done, even take part in it. And this was just such a total success, it really was. And I remember we had various features on it, like Ringo Bingo, which was a stupid kind of bingo game that we played on it. We ended up turning the whole thing into a TV show. So they brought the cameras down, and a cameraman would set up a couple of cameras and then film the main body of the, probably the middle hour, I think it was, of the breakfast show, and then go and edit it and turn it into a TV show to be shown the same day on Pattaya People Television. A feature had been started on a monthly basis, showcasing a nightclub down in Walking Street called Club Insomnia, and the programme was called Girl About Town. I was asked, well, will you produce it? And I thought, well, I've got to film it, I've got to edit it, so I'm going to need to learn a bit more about editing. And I ended up producing 60 monthly episodes over the next 5 years. It was incredible, really. It was an amazing success. And I learned a lot about editing very quickly. And then one day I met up with this guy. I'd heard he was a really good performer, Lee Shamrock. He's from California, but he did an Irish style show. But what a character. Reminded me a little bit of John Otway in his uniqueness. We struck up a friendship and became a duo. We called ourselves the Biff Gimbal Trio, and we changed our names. He was Lee Liververst, and I was Barry Slobotnik. I mean, I was just loving Thailand. By now, I felt that I was loving Thailand, and Thailand was loving me. Yeah, it seemed like I was flavour of the month at that time. So I was asked to put together something to play at this place called the Acorn, right in the centre of Pattaya. It's a very, very nice venue. So I did a few gigs solo, and then I put together a 3-piece 60s style band with some great musicians. First of all, Oi, who was one of the best drummers, and then Tony Stevens, who was a bass player, played with a band called Foghat. They were very famous in America. And then I was asked to do some shows at the Mantra, which is probably the best restaurant in town, very big restaurant do you think you could put a Beatles show on? I'm sure I could put a full band in. So we did it. We did 2 nights of Beatles songs, did about 40 odd Beatles songs with the band. The Jesters Motorcycle Club, charity, and they put on a gala dinner every year. So our 60s trio, we were invited to play there. And who would you believe would be the guest of honour? Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. Yeah, I met him and we got chatting, and when I introduced my name, he says, oh, you're the Steps guy. I said, oh, you know about Steps? He says, of course I do. And we had a good old chat about the fact that I probably had more hit singles than Led Zeppelin did, because they never really released singles. They only released albums. However, they were legendary, and so was he. I had regular guests on my 96 FM show who all became good friends. The show was really slick. I used to have production meetings, and I used to do the TV scheduling every day. It was a well-oiled machine, and everybody was doing their job really, really good. It was a good media group. And then every year, about the middle of February, there's the Barappa Bike Festival, which is bikers from all over Southeast Asia congregate at a big area just outside Pattaya, and it's the nearest thing to Woodstock you could ever experience. And I've been to 1 or 2 of them before. This time I was asked to play and do my Beatlemania show, so that was good. I was asked to put together a tribute to the UK Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I did. I put a band together. The whole event was another big success. Raymond Lewin, who was a famous French film director, he was making a show about Pattaya. So I suddenly got involved in that. And next minute, I'm dressed as an airline pilot, complaining to Miss Universe about the golf ball that came up and hit me in the eye. So yes, Miss Universe, Natalie Glebova, became a friend, and I ended up that scene walking off with her arm in arm. There was a massive audience in Walking Street. So he suddenly said, right, Barry, now. Off I went, faced the cameras, and my song was coming out of the speakers. I just started playing it and singing it. And then out the corner of my eye, I suddenly realised everybody's been rehearsing this. They've got a dance routine to it. The result was an absolute fabulous video, and I'm very proud of that. That was a unique event in Walking Street.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the one, the only, superstar, Barry Upton.
Suddenly came to me that I said, has anybody ever put together a ladyboy band, or has there been a ladyboy band? And so the production company, Redback, and some camera people or production people from Sky, they all flew over, and we had a meeting about it, made a schedule, and suddenly I'm involved in making a TV documentary about ladyboys, and I've got to tell you, it was fun. It was just so much fun. The TV filmed auditions were just hilarious, with a cross selection of brilliance to the downright awful, which was actually perfect for the documentary. We spent 4 weeks filming, and at one point I whittled it down to a certain amount of hopefuls, and we put them out live. We made this show at the Coliseum Theatre here in Pattaya, and it was incredible TV. The production company said, oh, this is fantastic, they got some great shots. And we had a panel, of which I was on the panel, and there was a very beautiful ladyboy, there was Scott, and there was me. I was the kind of like the Simon Cowell character. and it was very much like Pop Idol or Thailand's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent, that kind of show. And it came out really, really good. Anyway, they said that if I can actually put the band together and make it so that they could appear on TV, that would be the end of the documentary and show that I'd actually been successful in doing it. So they went in, had discussions with The Woody Show, which is a top Thailand morning show which goes out live, and we ended up having a slot on that. Actually were very successful. He loved it. He thought it was a great idea, and kind of put a rubber stamp on it.
ชื่อว่า Girls นะฮะ GURLZ ด้วยกันกับเพลงที่ชื่อว่า Treat Me Like a Lady. If you want a lady, boy, then treat me like a lady. Boy, do you want a lady? Boy, ooh, ooh, ah. Treat me like a lady, boy. Very good. The name of the band is Girls. แต่ไม่ได้สะกดแบบ GIRL นะ How do you spell it, Barry?
GURLZ with a question mark.
GURLZ.
The video I thought came out really good.
I want a cocktail, a nice juicy cocktail. I love a cocktail, a nice juicy cocktail. Sex on the beach, ooh la la.
Mantra at the Amari asked me to put on another special show. This time we agreed on the Beach Boys, and I did a kind of Beach Boys tribute, but also interspersed it with lots of very famous summer songs. And so we called the whole experience Endless Summer. I was standing on the sidelines and he approached me and said, "Upton, what are you doing?" I said, "No, I'm just filming, doing some interviews and stuff." He says, "No, you're not. You're playing for Ireland." All of a sudden, I'm recruited for the Irish football team to play in the International Beach Soccer Tournament. And I ended up scoring a penalty in the last game. So I was very, very pleased with that. That was very satisfying. I had the most popular morning show in Pattaya, undoubtedly the best playlist. On TV, we were producing some fantastic programs. There was a series called Female and Fabulous that our female presenter Megan was presenting. I was directing and producing. I was also producing a thing called Pattaya Stories, where people would talk about how they came to Pattaya and what they thought about Pattaya. So yeah, very busy. And then there was the bed race, which we always took part in annually. And this particular year, 2015, I did Beatlemania outside Central Festival, right in the heart of Pattaya on Beach Road, performed my Beatles act. And we were there in our Sgt. Pepper suits, very colourful and well received. And then there was a thing called Burapa Bike Festival, which I think I've mentioned before. Now this was very unusual because I was asked to take part in the top of the bill act. A guy called Ron Bumblefoot Tull, great rock guitarist, and the guy who replaced Slash in Guns N' Roses. So that's how good he is. So I ended up suddenly becoming a rock star for a couple of nights at the big festival, and it was just so funny. I'd morphed from being a cheesy pop star to a rock star, and I even did some lead vocals. I did some dual harmony lead breaks with Ron. It was just exciting and absolutely amazing, the fact that, you know, I'd suddenly got my rock credentials for sure. A wet t-shirt competition, very big affair this was, where I was a judge. So I did another tribute night at the Mantra this time. I thought I'd have a go at singing some of those croony type songs. I'd never done it before. So we called it the Kings of Swing. I got a Michael Bublé style suit made, very shiny, and did all those kind of Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, those kind of old style songs, big band songs. Great fun to do, and it was really good training for me and gave me even more confidence with my voice because I'd never tried singing those songs before. And then there was a nightclub right in Walking Street called Secrets. Every Friday was Secrets Night, live music at Secrets Night with Barry Upton. And it really became popular. It was a great gig to do.
And you were knighted Sir Barry Upton.
There was a Philippine order called the Knights of Rizal. They accepted the fact that I'd done stuff for the community and that I was an upstanding citizen and I had the right attributes to be a Knight of Rizal. So they had a special ceremony, and the ambassador, the Philippines ambassador, came to pin the badges on us and do the sword and arise Sir Barry. Suddenly I was officially Sir Barry Upton. Talk about being fearless. The guy, Richie Rhodes, who was organising the Barappa Bike Festival, he wanted the same band to support Ron Bumblefoot Tull again, play with him and be top of the bill. But he said to me, you know what would be great is if you and Ron could do like a song in Thai, because there's so many Thai bikers. I didn't dare look at the audience, I was just looking at the words and making sure I got all the words in the right order. And then it got to the lead solo. I looked over at Ron and he took over, and I just looked up at the audience and they were all going, yeah, like this. So I thought, I've cracked it. The first time I've sung in a song in Thai is in front of thousands and thousands of Thai bikers, and I've done it. So it went well, went really well. Now, Dr. Penguin, the comedy magician, a real character around town, one day he says, I've got two of the Gypsy Kings coming and I'm going to put on a little party. And so I ended up playing a few songs to start the evening off. And then these two Gypsy Kings got up and sung, and they sounded just like all of the Gypsy Kings together. They were just incredible. And so we ended up, myself and Dr. Penguin, on ukuleles, jamming with the Gypsy Kings, and only in Pattaya was a common phrase I was now using. Only in Pattaya. Oh, Tilly Rutherford, he was a legend in the music business. Used to be part of PWL with Pete Waterman, had 25 hits in 1 year, you know, signed Rick Astley, Kylie Minogue, Jason Donovan, Donna Summer. He was involved with all of that, and it was great. He loads of stories, tons of stories. Anyway, he used to come quite regularly. It was coming up now to Barappa Bike Week time. So we did our Queen tribute with Paul Jackson as Freddie Mercury, me as Brian May. I'd even got Paul to get me a Brian May guitar, which it's like a copy guitar, a copy of the famous Brian May guitar. So we looked the part, and I have to say, I think we did sound the part. I was asked to be the musical director for a charity concert, but also the fact working with all my friends here in Pattaya, and there was some real talent on that show. And we did a Beatles tribute, a Beach Boys tribute, Blues Brothers, Queen, Elvis, Rod Stewart, and there was a guy who did some opera, kind of opera singing, popra we called it. But I was in the Beatles, the Beach Boys, the Blues Brothers and the Queen. And it was such a great show, completely packed out, made a lot of money for charity. It was a total success. And some people even said it could have been the best show ever in Pattaya. The place that was always on my bucket list was Japan. So I had a fabulous time in Tokyo. We caught the bullet train down to Kyoto, which is a wonderful city. We kind of filmed the video wherever we were in Tokyo.
Tokyo. Let's go Tokyo. Tokyo. Go Tokyo.
I had these 3 Sonia songs, or songs I've recorded with Sonia that had never been released, and her management asked if we could release them and do like a 50-50 deal on it. I said, well, why not? So we got the news while we was in Kyoto that the Sonia record, or the first Sonia record that we'd released, it had gone to number 2 in the charts. And at that time, England were in the World Cup, and 3 Lions on a Shirt was number 1. Anyway, I think it was the semi-final of that World Cup, 2018, and England got knocked out. So what happened? That song went out, our song went to number 1. And then on our return to Pattaya, the following month, we released another song of that Sonia trilogy, Your Heart or Mine, and that went to number 2. Then I got some really, really sad news, and that was that I kind of expected that Tony Hiller, my ex-manager and my great friend and great mentor, he was on his last legs, but he passed away. Just before he passed away, I was able to film a little tribute to him, which he actually did see, and it was featured some of the songs that we'd written together, and I was able to say thank you to him for everything he taught me. Would you believe it? As a tribute, the third song, the third Sonia song that we released a month later, was a song I'd written with Tony Hiller, and it was originally meant to be the follow-up to Only Fools Never Fall in Love, which we'd had a hit with in '91. And would you believe it? It went to number 1. It was a fitting tribute, it really was. I'm sure it brought a big smile to his face, wherever he may be. Muzzle Tov Bubala. Well, I've been recording a bunch of songs in my studio, and I just felt that maybe I should put them all together as an album and then put them out. I'd made videos for a few of them, and I came up with the name Fab Baz Pop because it's fabulous. Baz is a short version of my name, Barry, and Pop because that's what it was. It was just pop, so Fab Baz Pop. And when I wanted to put the 30-song collection out, Will Mann at Nova, he said that you should put this out as 2 CDs or 2 collections, so part 1 and part 2, put 15 songs on each. So that's what happened. Fab Baz Pop 1 and Fab Baz Pop 2. David Lee was over at my studio one day, David Lee from Taiwan, and he listened to it and he says, oh, my daughter's just become far left. She needs to hear this. So he took the song with him back to Taiwan, and then he asked me if he could translate the lyrics into Chinese. I said, why not? So he goes and translates the lyrics into Chinese, puts it on his Facebook page, and of course he's got thousands of followers, including one of the main news anchors, a female news anchor in China, and she shared it all. So suddenly I had a lot of fans in China. Who could have thunk that?
Seems like everybody is an expert. Everyone got opinion. What the hell is going on in the never-changing news? United we stand, divided we fall. Hey, why can't we find a little middle ground? 'Cause what we need is some middle ground.
Would you believe it? I was having a heart attack. So I got to the hospital and they kind of stabilized me, and I wasn't sure if this was going to be it or not, but they moved me up to another hospital at Payatai Sriracha, which is about half an hour's drive away. We had an ambulance, all guns blazing, and I was in the back of it thinking, well, this could be it. We got into the operating theatre, and they didn't need to operate, they found, and the heart doctor there, just amazing, kind of sussed out what was wrong with me almost immediately. He says, I can't see your third artery. I think by at the end of that 3 days that I was in the hospital, I'd kind of written the whole thing in my head. So I think that's what got me through it, really.
Just like that, in the blink of an eye, a new life, my heart went boom. Just like that, and suddenly a new reality.
So I got a collection of songs together, including Cry Baby Cry. I did a video for that song with a grand piano. I thought, I've got a nice collection of songs now. I can put out Fad Baz Pop 3. And Cry Baby Cry was really popular, and it got into the United DJs Top 30, and it was climbing up steadily. Eventually, I think it ended up number 6 was the highest it got to, but I kept overtaking artists like Stevie Wonder, Bruce Springsteen, Shirley Bassey. I remember the Doobie Brothers and Peter Frampton, that was a good one. Yeah, and so, yeah, it peaked at number 6, and it was just time to celebrate an amazing end to a really strange year. And although it's one that I had enjoyed for the best part, and I couldn't believe I was still having hits at the age of 66.
Cry, baby, why do I cry? Why do I spend all these lonely nights waiting for you? Cry, baby, I don't know why. Whatever happened to days gone by? 'Cause all I do is cry. Baby, cry.
While more gigs were coming my way, I was more confident about doing gigs now, and felt like I had more energy, and so I embarked on this group of gigs that I had, and I called it the No Gimmicks Tour. Well, actually, the only gimmick I really had on that tour was I took out my trusty Rickenbacker 12-string electric guitar, they're iconic. Then I started getting this 60s style project together with Martin Carlisle. We spoke about it a few times. So I got into writing and recording songs. I found these songs very easy to write, and after about 3.5 months I had enough songs and I recorded them, and I was ready to shoot. And so I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could write a song called And the Oscar Goes To, and then of course the artist would be Barry Upton, And so in a chart it would say, and the Oscar goes to Barry Upton. So I did it, it worked, and it did get in a chart as well. I call the whole project the Hormones of Happiness. So the album was called The Hormones of Happiness. I kind of put a band together with some female dancers. It came out really good, and I had a commercial pop album. I got a lot of radio play out of some of the songs, and I finally had my attempt at recreating Ready Steady Go.
My name is Megan and we are ready to go, go, go with Barry Upton and his Hormones of Happiness.
Ready, steady, go, go. Ready, steady, go, go. Happiness is an inside job. Gotta learn to love ourselves. There ain't nothing that anyone else can do. Is an inside job.
Yes, happiness really is an inside job.
Oh, I can't stop thinking about the girl before you.
Nearly all bossa nova albums are always covers or copies of other songs. Maybe I should write some new ones. So I came up with this concept of myself sitting and playing bossa nova songs in a tropical beach cafe, watching girls in bikinis walking past on the sand. How good is that? So I kind of wrote the songs with that theme in mind and that kind of visual content in mind. And I wanted to film them in a paradise environment. And it turned out to be this island called Koh Lipe. And there was this place called the Zodiac Resort on it. Like the Seychelles, Mauritius, all put into one, and the great thing was we didn't have to leave Thailand. The Zodiac Resort was absolutely fantastic. It was just a kind of hippie type place, which was ideal for me to film me playing the songs in. So on our return to Pattaya, I managed to procure some models, some that I knew, some that I hadn't met before, Thai and Russian, and filmed them looking absolutely gorgeous in a tropical setting, and married it all up together, and then the album was completed. Fab Baz Music TV. I was uploading my songs to the Barry Upton channel, but the problem was that there was lots of other stuff on there as well, which didn't relate to music. So I thought maybe I should have a dedicated music channel of my own. It's the 25th anniversary of 5678, and I knew that Steps, the band, were going to be bringing out it was called the Platinum Collection to celebrate the 25th anniversary, but I thought maybe I could do something. And I had this friend who lived in Cuba, so I called it 5678 Tropical, and that was it. That was like a celebration of 25 years of that very song. And then my friend Axel, he's a German guy who had been the promoter for AC/DC in Germany, and he just promoted a gig with Bryan Adams in Mallorca. So he asked me to put together a version of Summer of '69 as a thank you to Bryan Adams.
Those were the best days of my life. Oh, the summer, the summer of '69. Oh, yeah. Oh, the summer, the summer back in the summer of '69. The summer of '69. Oh, the summer, the summer of '69.
So Barappa Bike Week was looming, and my friend Richie Rhodes, who was organising the entertainment, he said it'd be great to have Coco perform there. She's a Chinese artist who's doing gigs all around Pattaya, and I'd already recorded one song with her. I thought she was a great singer. She can sing opera, blues, like Amy Winehouse. So we had some fun doing some gigs together, and I just thought, yeah, it'd be great to put a band together and we'd do a set with her live, doing some good old blues classics, and we'd do our own original song. And it went down really, really well. Yeah, great artist, and I remember thinking, you know, she could go places. You know, she's got some talent. Well, like I recreated the Ready Steady Go type theme with my Hormones of Happiness album, I just thought, wouldn't it be great to recreate that feeling I had when I first came to Thailand and played at Koh Samet on the island, and just felt welcome to paradise. I was playing at a wedding and people dancing all around on the beach, and I thought the only way to do that is by doing an album of cover songs, and I thought, well, this is a good excuse to do that.
Mama told me you better shop around. small town. Hey, you with the red dress on, I gotta find a way to take it up. It feels like I'm in love. Been making music to watch girls by.
So I thought maybe I could challenge myself and do a 20-minute song, or write a 20-minute song. And I came up with A Dreamer's Kiss in a Paradise Bliss.
A dreamer's kiss in the paradise bliss. In my dream, I see her face, a perfect vision of beauty and grace. And now I found a love so honest and true. Dreamer's kiss in a paradise bliss, with you. A dreamer's kiss, how sweet it is. Forever in love in a paradise bliss. A kiss that's filled with promises. It'll never get any better than this. A dreamer's kiss in the paradise bliss. A dreamer's kiss in the paradise bliss.
Dawn Parry is a host of a radio station in the UK, and she had a friend, Steve Lillywhite, who is U2's producer. He lives in Bali. They came up with this concept of doing Jukebox Judgment, where a bunch of producers, top producers, would critique new releases. So I got asked to be part of them, and there was Craig Leon, who was Blondie's producer, Phil Brown, who's a legend in his own right. He was an engineer on All Along the Watchtower for Jimi Hendrix. So it's just great being on a show with these people and sharing views, and they've all become friends. That's the best part. I'd written this kind of funny little poem a few years previous, and it suddenly came up on a Facebook memory thing or something. A happy fish only has one wish, and that is to be a happy fish. And at the same time, I just purchased these Abbey Road strings, which were like the Eleanor Rigby style strings, and they were samples, but I could use them. And I thought maybe I should do a kind of Eleanor Rigby style track.
Happy fish swimming around, happy fish around and around. Happy fish only have one wish, and that is to be a happy fish. Oh, how I wanna be a happy fish, just like them, a happy fish. Oh, how I wanna be a happy fish. Happy fish swimming around, happy fish.
Yeah, at the end of 2023, the Beatles released a compilation album of all their hits, and they included a new song which they just put together from a John Lennon demo, and it's called Now and Then. And I wasn't happy with it. I thought, hey, that just doesn't sound like a great Beatles song. So I thought, I'm going to show them how they should have done it. So I put my own version of Now and Then together.
I goes on because of you.
I initially thought of Ride On Into the Sunset, the video, being on horses. But that wasn't going to happen. So I decided, I could be riding through the Arizona desert on motorbikes. And that can happen because I've got a friend who's got a Harley Davidson. And that's exactly what I did.
Ride on into the sunset with me. Into the sunset, ride on into the sunset, hey, ride on into the sunset with me.
I call it serendipity, and the idea is it's not about having what you want, it's really wanting what you've got, and that has become my mantra for 2024 as I remind myself on a daily basis to appreciate my luxury life. Now I'm 70 years old.
Staying alive is a priority. Being aware of serendipity. I walk by the ocean with a daybreak sky, saying hi to the pretty girls who take my eye. So happy to make a little compromise, appreciating every new sunrise. It's not what you want. It's not what you want. It's not about having what you want. It's really wanting what you got.
Like recently, there was a wedding in Korat, which is up in the north of Thailand, and we drove up there with KJ and we did this fantastic wedding. It was a big festival stage, and I played about an hour set, and there was all these feathery dancers, and 10 elephants had been brought in from Surin to bless the happy couple. You know, you can't pass up things like this, and stuff like that is just a joy to do, as is the project which I've just done with Coco Zoo.
I love you long time, and for the rest of our lives, I love you long time. Wanna make you all mine. I love you long time, and the sun's gonna shine. I love you long time, long time. I love you long time. I love you more than I love myself. It ain't easy for me loving someone else. To hear my heart is no good for my health, so I gotta be sure I love you more than I love myself.
Well, firstly, I feel as though I've been privileged to have had such a very colourful, interesting and fun life. I think my positive outlook on life has kept me in good shape. I feel I've had a pretty good success rate, but I still love to play and create music. That's the big thing, either in my studio or if I'm playing live. And of course, I regularly contribute to a wonderful magazine called Discover Pattaya. I mean, I should be pretty damn happy with my life, and I most definitely am. Being a Pop-Tart has most definitely suited me.
It's the winning that counts. That's what it's all about. Hold up the gold and shout. It's the winning that counts.
Then came the news that a new Big Theatre musical is born. using nothing but songs by the band Barry formed. Steps. Wow, the new big theatre musical is likely to soon be heading for London's West End. Ka-ching! The new revival chart saw Barry's song, Start of a Brand New Day, go straight in at number 2. Wow! At Christmas, he re-released his Christmas song of a few years ago, only to see it climb the revival chart alongside his other hit song, Start of a Brand New Day, which eventually stayed in the chart for 12 weeks. David Lee was now starting to relocate to Thailand from Taiwan, so he and Barry regularly met up for morning exercise along Pattaya Beach. Barry guested with his YouTuber vlogging friend Sean King as they entertained his thousands of followers. Then Barry released a romantic song of his for Valentine's Day, only to see it ride high in the chart for weeks after. Barry's presence on New Dawn FM's Jukebox Judgment was now a firm fixture, and his new release, Love Rocks, also climbed the revival chart, making the top 10. The always entertaining Barry Upton page in my glossy monthly magazine, Discover Pattaya, has now been a popular regular feature for over 5 years. You can always get an update on Barry's latest Pop-Tart antics by checking his page out in Discover Pattaya online at pattayatrader.com. Barry's music videos can be found on his YouTube channel, Fab Baz Music TV, plus his other features on Fab Baz Sunshine TV, also on YouTube. Well, that's all, folks, for now.
1, 2. Love rocks, yeah, love rocks, love rocks, yeah, love rocks, love rocks, love rocks, ain't no doubt about it, love rocks. Hey, come on, ha, let's talk about love. Ain't no doubt about it, love rocks.
Barry Upton, you've done 15 takes. Let's make take 16 the one. Go.
She made me do it. She made me fall in love with her. Ooh. I blame the TV ads with their persuasive ways to make her buy the products that make her